Edgar TV. How do and welcome back to Edgar TV, where today we're going to look at a topic, but I'm going to break it down into two parts. So the topic is what the thumbnail says. How did I know it was time to go and try the professional ranks? But also this is a question I get asked quite a lot. How do you know when it's time to go to Q school? I'm going to answer both of those questions in this video all in one go. So it's two for the price of one. That's what Edgar TV does for you guys. Now, often what we get is we get people that say, when is it time to go to Q school? But there's no answer to this. There is no external factor that is going to tell you it's time to go to Q school. And we can't really measure it on those external factors. A couple of examples here for you are people say, when I get in the County A team, that's time to go to Q school. We've had people that have won the BDO World Championships or have got to the final recently of the BDO World Championships, went to Q school and didn't get through. We've got returning players from the PDC Tour who played in this year's World Championships. Some of them won games. Had to go back to Q school, didn't get through. Because Q school can't be judged by an external factor. It all needs to be right. It's a 4-day slog. We need everything in there mentally and internally and physically to be able to get us through that event. So if it's not judged by an external factor, how do we know? And this goes back to the first question. How did I know it was time? It's an internal thing that tells you. Now, if you watch any of my other videos, you'll know that I stopped playing darts completely for a couple of years. About 4 or 5 years. I went and did some professional wrestling. If you haven't seen that yet, the videos are on the channel if you want to go through and have a look at those. And there was a lot of barriers and things that were sort of there. But what was a big moment for me was at the time Kevin Painter was about number 15 in the world. And we got together for a couple of practice sessions. I'd only been playing darts again for about 6 months. I was just going into the county team and various bits. And I needed someone to practice with. Kevin just moved to the area not long ago. This was the year he beat Raymond van Barneveld in the World Championship down at Alexandra Palace. They had a great run down there. But yeah, it was that moment. So I was going along and practice with Kevin. We had a couple of sessions together. Kevin won, obviously. He was right up there at the time. Kevin won. And he won quite a lot. He won most of the games. But I was getting to the point where I was either missing doubles or I was getting 2 doubles. So I knew I was getting quite close, but he'd win. And then after a couple of months, I took a couple more legs. And I was looking at the scores and it's getting a bit closer. And we got closer and closer to the point where I thought, actually, I can compete. I was still losing, but I could compete. Now, Kevin was number 15 in the world at the time. So inside, it just set a trigger like, well, if I can rival Kevin, that must mean that I could rival the people below him as well. So it gave me a little bit of belief and opportunity myself, thinking, well, Q School's not going to have the world number 15 in it. So if I went to Q School, I'm not going to be playing against the level that I'm currently practicing at. I'm going to be playing against the ones that Kevin's beating because Kevin's getting there. So I thought, I'm probably getting as close as they are, so I'm probably at their level, so I'll be able to do it. That was an internal thing that told me that. It was only my own weird workings out and maths that got me to that conclusion because I didn't have anything to back it up and nothing was telling me it was. But because I believed it, I went to Q School and I applied it. And this is what I'm saying. You might be in the County B, the County A, you might not have done anything. We've got great examples of that. Gerwin Price, very good example. A guy that went to Q School with none of this background. He didn't do the Lakeside or County. Started playing darts, went to Q School, now look at him. It was an internal thing that told him inside that that was the way to go. When that happens, you know. And do not let barriers become excuses. At the time, I had 4 children, I was working, didn't have hardly any disposable income whatsoever. It literally was money in, money out, money in, money out. So the tour at the time was quite expensive, £105 a tournament plus travel. There's a story I've put on Edgar TV with this, but basically I sold my PlayStation and various bits that was valuable items at the time to raise the funds to allow me to go and play these events. I could afford 3 events. Didn't make excuses saying I haven't got the money. I did whatever I could to get that barrier to be a barrier rather than an excuse. I'll link that video here if you haven't seen that yet. Don't come up with excuses. When you know and you feel it, go. If you're coming up with excuses not to, it's not time. It needs to be internally right. It's probably not the best answer that you're ever going to get, because you probably want me to sit here and say, when you average 85, you should go to Q school. No. When you're ready, here, rather than here, you'll know when it's time to go to Q school. That's why so many of the very best talents didn't get through this year, because they wasn't ready here. That's when you know. Edgar TV. If you haven't done it yet, guys, today's the day. Hit that subscribe button, join the Edgar Nation, and keep up to date with your Edgar TV.